This week, Jack Kirby's story of the Night Flyer ends with a whimper in Captain America and the Falcon 214. But who cares about that nothing burger when there's Cap Annual number 3? This is Kirby action of the highest order. Emmett and I discuss both issues this week. First, as always, I'd like to thank our patrons for helping to keep the show going. You can pitch in by pledging at least $2 a month at patreon.com/deconcomics. This is Tim.
This is Emmett.
And this is Deconstructing Comics. Welcome to Deconstructing Comics. This is Tim in Tokyo with Emmett in Country Victoria, Australia.
Hi, Tim. How are things?
Okay. Kind of caught myself off guard there. Oh, yeah, I got to remember that again. Where does he live?
Yeah.
Kangaroos. Yeah.
Kangaroos, yeah. It's extremely hot today. I spent most of my day gardening, so I'm a bit weary. Let's talk about Captain America.
Right, so we're getting close to the end of Kirby's Captain America stuff from the 70s. This time we've got the last regular issue, 214, and then we want to get into the 1976 annual number 3.
Dear listener, the reason I responded that way when Tim read that out is because Tim downplayed what
well, I didn't want to spoil it for you.
And when I discovered, I got very excited.
Yeah, because like this issue 214 is kind of whatever. And then the annual is like the most action-packed comic I've read in years, probably. Like, at the end. That was exhausting. All right, so Captain America and the Falcon 214. We're wrapping up with the Night Flyer. And Cap, of course, was blind when we left him. And so on the cover, we've got Cap facing us. He doesn't have the bandage over his eyes. But I guess, yeah, he is still blind in this picture. And the Night Flyer is saying, your partner can't help you, blind man, because Falcon is behind a glass. Now that I've got the power, no one can help you. That is.
And he's so blind, he's going to attack us.
No, not the readers.
We need them.
Yeah, not the paying audience. Yeah, and it's called Assault of the Night Flyer. Although, is it really an Assault of the Night Flyer? I don't know. Meh. All right, so on the splash page, Cap is still Steve. He doesn't have his Cap uniform on, and he's got the bandage over his eyes. And he and Falcon and a couple of S.H.I.E.L.D. guys are facing off with Night Flyer. Plus, we see some gun muzzles coming in from other directions, other S.H.I.E.L.D. agents.
But we were assured that the Night Flyer has not yet used the power, and the word power is this banner word taken up. It's a splash word. So yes, I think the implication being, even though he looks like he's completely at the mercy of these soldiers in Cap and Falcon, actually he's going to turn the tables on them any moment now.
Yeah, because Falcon says that Night Flyer looks like he's praying or in deep meditation. But then in the next panel, which is one of those 2-pagers, he's zapping everybody. Night Flyer
with
is
the power.
Zack. And just got bodies flying every which direction. And Falcon says, he's generating a high-voltage shock force. That blast is strong enough to send us off the Richter scale.
Does that work?
Not really. Well, I mean, I can hear a guy I used to work with who was a geologist who would always complain that people thought that the Richter scale was an instrument, and it's not. It's just a bunch of numbers.
It's a scale. It's a concept of the amount of damage. the intensity of the earthquake itself.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Would this even measure on the Richter scale? It's blowing away
No.
people, but
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't work as an analogy.
yeah,
It's not like
yeah.
it's not like an actual. Yeah, it's a blast of force.
Yeah, that's just knocking over people, but not really shaking the ground, I don't think. I don't know. I wasn't there, but... So, yeah, people are still lying all over, and Cap feels a leg next to him because he's lying on the ground, and he says, help me up, and then he realizes it's Nightflyer standing over him, and Nightflyer is ready to shoot him in the head. Now, he misses because Cap moves his head out of the way, and then the weakest excuse I ever heard, Nightflyer says, my compliments on your superb reflexes, but I have little time to waste on another shot. How much time is it going to take?
This is why I was so frustrated last time we covered these issues. Just like he keeps coming up with excuses. Nightflyer keeps explaining why he can't do things he's eminently qualified to do.
But you're the main character, so I can't kill you. That's the real reason.
It's essentially that. Yeah.
So he has to locate and kill the defector, who we saw a little bit of last time. The defector doesn't really have much agency in this. He's just there. He's just the MacGuffin.
Yeah. But then, like, on the same page, we see the Nightfire shoot a bunch of other people.
Yeah, and so we're told that they died.
Wasted shots.
Yeah, we're told these people died. So, yeah, I mean, did he waste time doing that, too? Is that also a waste of time? Yeah, but they're red shirts, so there's always enough time. There's always enough time to kill red shirts.
Yeah,
no time like the present. So they're in the SHIELD headquarters, right? And they detect what's going on and sound an alarm that goes "Aru, Aru, Aru." So Cap is still lying on the floor. Falcon gets up. Cap says, I'll live, Falcon. Get on with the job. Get the Nightflyer.
We have another analogy here, which is because everyone, the Force, when it was applied to these SHIELD agents, they all complained about how it was impacting their body. They talk about their chest being crushed by the force of it. Falcon has to add his own observation, which is like a deep sea diver at the bottom of a bowl of tapioca pudding. So now I'm mentally trying to imagine a deep sea diver trying to fit into a bowl of tapioca pudding. Okay, the bowl is much bigger. Well, then it's not really a bowl, is it? It's like a reservoir.
Well, or maybe it's just a really tiny deep sea diver.
Or he's really small. You see, these are all the mental images that I'm struggling with now.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's all wrong.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's a like bowl as in stadium, like the Orange Bowl or something like that.
Sure, but it's full of tapioca,
right? Yeah,
as one occasionally finds.
Yeah, they have
traveling through this world.
Big like tapioca event at the Orange Bowl. Sure.
Yeah. We all know the context. Sure, we don't need to explain it any further. You can move along now.
Falcon notices Cap looks badly singed because of the shot that the Nightflyer took at him, and it was near his eyes. I wonder what that's going to cause to happen. And Falcon goes in all bold capital letters, I don't like that Nightflyer, Steve. Well, we didn't think that you did. It doesn't seem like, I don't know, just something, the words kind of lack the impact that the boldness implies, I think.
I do not like the Dr. Fell. It's like,
I do not like him, Sam. I am. Yeah.
yeah, it's just, what are we doing? There's like this issue, these two issues have just been full of unintentional comedy. And the reason why I was raging last time, I'm not as mad this time because I know what's coming next. So I'm looking forward to talking about that. But the reason I was raging is because it feels so like on the cusp of something really thrilling, and instead you got this ridiculous dialogue and happenstance where the guy chooses not to kill and then he proceeds to kill on the same page.
Yeah.
And the fact that in the same speech bubble that you're calling attention to, Falcon says, "I don't like a weird cat who kills like a cold, indifferent machine." But we've seen him make a sort of calculation with killing Steve that maybe you can make an argument that he's done the math and he's going, actually, I could potentially waste more bullets on Steve because he keeps ducking and weaving even though he's blind. But it just felt more emotive to me. It felt like, oh, I don't want to deal with you. I'm going to deal with somebody else. I'm going to and he just kill some red shirts.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Falcon gathers up some shield guys and they all go after Night Flyer.
And again, like we're now, Falcon is leading the charge. Fine. To facilitate this, the art depicts them running down what looks like a giant hallway. Like, it's a huge hallway. Yes. It's like a conference floor, and Falcon's flying ahead, which of course doesn't work. If it was like a hospital hallway or a base hallway, you'd think it would just be easier for him to just run ahead of them, and lead the way. But instead he's flying, so we need to create this visual space. And again, everything's just slightly off. Even a simple sequence like this, it's just, well, now I'm thinking about how big this hallway is.
So in the next page, Night Flyer zaps them all again. Zow! And they're all flying every which way again.
But Falcon avoids it because he was flying. Is that the implication? Like,
I guess so, yeah. And so he's still able to grab the Night Flyer and throw him through some glass. I don't know. It looks like a window, but it's not a window to outdoors. I'm not sure. Maybe some kind of a booth.
Observation room.
Booth. Yeah. So there's a fight for a few panels, and Falcon gets in some punches, but then there's another panel where Night Flyer is zapping him. Blam! We just see Night Flyer's face in that picture.
Which, if you see the sequence, if you see blam off camera, if you like, impact on Falcon, you assume he just got shot in the face.
Yeah.
That's what you assume.
Uh-huh.
Or chest, because what else would blam signify? Gunshot.
Yeah. So Steve is now getting up and saying, can't stay here, gotta pitch in. And it turns out that there's a hidden compartment in the wall that has his costume and shield in it. That he remembers exactly where it was, so he was able to go over and open it and put his costume on. So, but of course he's still blind. He doesn't have spider sense or daredevil sense or anything.
Yeah.
And he hears one of the troopers walking in front of him, but feels like there's something weird about him because he's not just randomly searching. He's going someplace specific. And we see this trooper going in kind of a weird door that doesn't get all the way to the floor. So Cap follows him, and then we jump into where he's going, and we see Night Flyer has got Falcon in there.
Yeah.
And this trooper is Night Flyer's inside contact. He's the spy that his existence was mentioned last time, but we didn't know who he was. And the spy says, your target, the defector, has been steadily moved about for security reasons, but I think that I can pinpoint his present room. You think? Don't you know, fool? It's kind of typical villain dialogue. It's not easy to ferret out S.H.I.E.L.D. strategy. It's changed every moment.
But, like, again, the Night Flyer, up to this point, every statement he makes, he makes it with such definitiveness. So I think somebody saying to him, I think, it enrages Night Flyer, because his whole thing is, well, I know exactly what's happening in any moment because I am so in tune with the present moment in time. I can anticipate any possible attack. I can anticipate any possible action that might occur within the next moment or two. Despite all of that, he does get beaten handily a couple of times. So it doesn't really work out.
So he's locking Falcon into this room with a window in the door. I mean, it's apparently the window that we see him behind on the cover.
Yes.
And then Cap comes in, throws his shield. It hits the spy, knocks him out. But Cap can't tell which one of them he hit until Night Flyer starts talking. And so there's a fight, which is, Cap's at a disadvantage because he can't see exactly where Night Flyer is. And then Night Flyer's got a flamethrower. That's kind of unnerving when you can't see. You can feel it for sure.
My God, he's got a flamethrower.
And Falcon's trying to get out of this room, but unfortunately for him, it's, as he says, blast shield, and it's latest in unbreakable glass. He's whacking away at it and gives up on the glass, so then he has to just pry the door open. Okay, so then we see 3 S.H.I.E.L.D. guys in a different part of the building. They're saying, I've got it on the monitor. That's it, all right. Increase magnitude. Let's have a closer look at it. And it's a kind of satellite flying over.
Yeah. It's his glider. It's Night Flyer's glider. Yeah.
Right. And they figure out that it must be supplying Night Flyer's power. So they shoot like 3 missiles at it and blow it up real good. Whoom. And that causes Night Flyer to just lie unconscious suddenly. As Falcon breaks out of the steel room, and Cap is just leaning against a wall, and then a bunch of S.H.I.E.L.D. guys come in, and one of them looks at Night Flyer and says, the Night Flyer, scarred, charred, and thoroughly a dead issue.
Yeah.
And that it was somehow linked to his glider. That was, if they took that out, then it took him out.
Yeah, I know I do this a lot in terms of citing contemporary writers who have rifled through Kirby's stuff for inspiration. But there's a very specific example of that here with this. So for Grant Morrison's new X-Men comic book, he created the character Phantom X, who poses as a sort of French cat burglar. Like, that's his persona. So he owes a lot to the likes of Danger Diabolique kind of thing. I think I mentioned this last time as well. But he's clearly inspired by this character because Phantom X has a external brain that travels through the sky like a UFO. It almost looks like a UFO, and it's his vessel, but it's also his nervous system, and it routes a lot of information and power to him, and he's able to divide his attention between these aspects of himself. And I feel like Morrison took this and sort of gave it a 21st century polish, and then gave us Phantom X. So it is sort of my recurring frustration, which is that Kirby's come up with these really interesting ideas, and I don't think he's getting due credit. But then other people will just take that concept and then just put a lick of paint in it and then go, all right, this is my brilliant new idea. This is my concern.
Yeah, so I found that this is actually not the last appearance of Nightflyer.
Oh, good.
Although, well, so this issue 214 is July of 77. According to fandom.com, Nightflyer died in Incredible Hulk 264 in July 1981. So just 4 years later.
Okay, that seems difficult because we just saw him burnt to a crisp.
Oh, well, you know, they can bring back anybody they want to if they think of a good enough excuse.
Right. Potentially it could be somebody else who also is part of the Nightflyer program. Maybe another student of this philosophy, whatever it is, and has the same technology. I don't know. I'll need to read that Incredible Hulk issue. Do we have credits for that issue? Do we know who wrote it?
Let's see. That Hulk issue, it's written by Bill Mantlo, penciled and inked by Sal Buscema, although the cover is by Frank Miller.
Okay.
Because it was 1981, and that was how you sold comics. Put Frank Miller art on the cover.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know when that doesn't work? Right now. Have you seen those covers? Seen some of Frank Miller's covers? Ooh, pretty rough. Pretty rough.
And then Cap realizes that his sight has come back because the shot at him, he fired that early shot close to my eyes. He must have jogged the proper nerve into action. Yeah, so eyes work like an old-fashioned TV. Just whack it on the side, and they start working again.
This is all I'm thinking about this issue. I'm thinking about giant bowls of tapioca. I'm thinking about Richter scale devices, and I'm thinking about smack somebody upside the head who's got an eye injury, and they'll be fine. That's all these issues that make me think of.
Right. Well, we all know that when you get hit on the head and have amnesia, the cure is to hit your head again, and then you'll be fine. Just like on Gilligan's Island. You get an unconcussion the second time. Anyway. So the remains, apparently, of Nightflyer are carried away for an autopsy, and they find the unconscious, dead, I don't know, but the spy, and well, they're planning on court-martialing him, so apparently he's alive. And they're referring to him as Benedict, and Falcon says, "Now don't forget to give my regards to Arnold," and Cap says, "That's a bad joke, son." Was it a joke? I wasn't even sure about that much. But I don't know. I felt like this. I guess the reason I feel like this issue is kind of a nothing burger is because it wasn't Cap who saved the day. This is kind of like certain episodes of Batman 66 where Batman's in a death trap and survives just because of dumb luck or because the cops did something. You don't want that. You want it to be the hero's brain power.
Yeah, we kind of saw this in the last storyline as well, the Red Skull, where the soldiers actually do turn up and they do contribute. Like, Kirby is showing the SHIELD soldiers actually take matters into their own hands and blow up the enemy base, or in this case, blow up the external would-be hard drive of Nightflyer that gives him all his power and all his abilities. I did quickly. You're right. You know, this was still disappointing though, because it sort of comes out of nowhere. You mean you're waiting to see how Cap's going to get out of this one. It's like, well, the soldiers blew it out of the air, and job done. I did look into that issue of the Hulk, and yes, it is the Nightflyer, and he is resurrected by the Corruptor. We don't find out how he managed to do that, but he basically is like, "Hey, I want you to fight the Hulk. If you don't do it, I'll make you die again." And then he dies.
I see. So he was alive for one issue. Okay.
He was alive just for the issue, yeah. So he gets killed the same way again. Oh my goodness, he gets killed the same way again. So the Hulk crushes the glider and then he dies again. He just has no luck at all.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Coming up, Captain America Annual number 3 from 1976. Hey, look, a space vampire. This podcast is part of the Deconstructing Comics Network, where we're grateful to our supporters on Patreon. Patrons get exclusive extra content. Pledge $2 a month or more and get Batman 66 podcast Bat Bits, where we're discussing writer and script editor Lorenzo Semple's Bat Notes memo, in which he lays out guidelines for writing Batman scripts. We've recently also discussed a TV Guide interview with Yvonne Craig as she was beginning her run as Batgirl, early versions of the scripts for Bookworm and Penguin episodes from Season 1, and more. At $4 a month, you also get our monthly show Silver Age Batman, where I'm moving through the book Batman in the 50s issue by issue, discussing each story and sometimes laughing at them, with a rotating second chair of Paul, Emmett, Patrick, or Kumar. Follow our Patreon for free and get access to the first 2 episodes of both Bat-Bits and Silver Age Batman. Check it out at patreon.com/deconcomics, and thanks for your support. Hitoshi Iwaaki's manga Parasite is a science fiction horror title with some comedy added for good measure. In the second season of Full Manga Alchemists, Patrick and I are discussing the story chapter by chapter. Parasite is one of our favorite manga titles, but of course nothing eclipses Full Metal Alchemist, which we finished our read-through of last year. But we're still doing occasional episodes on Hiromu Arakawa's classic manga. Recently we discussed whether The Dwarf in the Flask could serve as an analog for the dangers of artificial intelligence. Listen every other Monday on your favorite podcast app. Full Manga Alchemists.
Well, let's move on. So actually, this collection we've been going through, it puts these 2 annuals at the end. I think because they just didn't want to break the flow of the issue-to-issue story. So we've got the 76 and 77 annuals in the back. We'll save 77 for next time. But, this one on the front, we've got page after page of pulse-pounding fury. That's no lie. Doom is the Black Star. Captain America versus the Thing from Beyond the Stars. And we've got that Thing and a corpse. We'll find out about that. And some, robot-looking guys behind Cap and the spaceship.
Yes. So, the cover features a monster from Beyond the Stars, a thing from Beyond the Stars, who we'll get to learn more about in a moment. But when I started reading the story, and when I got to the significant moment, I immediately wondered if Jack Kirby had seen a little movie called Terrore nello Spazio. My approach to Italian is say it with confidence, but which loosely translates is terror from space, but in English is known as Planet of the Vampires.
Okay,
so it's a movie from 1965. Planet of the Vampires, and the characters in the movie. It's a movie I've never actually taken the time to sit down and watch, but it inspired a bunch of other stuff. Like it inspired Alien, Ridley Scott's Alien, and a movie I'm very fond of, which also has space vampires, is Tobe Hooper's Life Force, which I have seen repeatedly. It is a terrible movie, but I love it. I think it's just the most fun. London gets torn apart by space vampires who turn people into zombies. It's great. But this movie is famous for being sort of an early example of the idea of a space vampire. I mean, it's come up in other things. Buck Rogers in the 21st century had an episode all about a space vampire. Not 31st century, sorry. But it's also well known for its cinematography, its color scheme, the style of it, and the costumes. The costumes all the characters wear. They wear these sort of leather outfits with these sort of hoods And this character is strongly reminiscent.
Right, yeah, when we first see him, he also has a hood.
Yeah, of those. So I do wonder. I know we have this sort of parasocial. Oh gosh, I wonder what Jack Kirby was watching back then. What kind of late night movies was he watching? I think we had a conversation about that. I do think he took inspiration from Bava for this, because it's just the appearance of the creature, the style of it, its nature, what it does, very reminiscent of the Italian movie. So I just wanted to mention that.
Okay. This is not a slow starting comic. We're like right in the middle of the action at the beginning, and I was expecting that there might be a flashback, but they get us caught up with a little bit of dialogue. That's all. We're starting here, and this is the beginning of the story. And Cap is wrestling with some big purple alien, and there's another guy in the background who's like a farmer who Cap is addressing as Hendrix. We'll find out his name is Jim Hendrix. It's like the most sounds like the most appropriate name for this character, but it also sounds like Jimi Hendrix, which he is definitely not.
But what if he was? How would that go?
So then on the 2-pager after that, Hendrix grabs some kind of space gun and shoots the alien. Zrak.
It's a real BFG. Like, it's a big gun. Like, it's the kind of thing that Image Comics were known for back in the 90s. Where these big muscular dudes would just have these giant cannons. But Hendrix here he's just grabbed it and he's just using it, and he's just immediately shoots this creature, who looks like one of the Californian raisins. Did that occur to you?
It did not, but now that you mention it, the soundtrack for this is "Heard It Through the Grapevine," I guess.
There you
go. And Hendrix says this weapon can stop a Patton tank.
As analogies go, that one works. Yeah. I know what he means.
Yeah.
I'm now not confused by why is there a tank called Patton? I understand the reference being made.
And the alien is apparently done in by the ray and then just disappears. They mentioned that there were 2 others before him that they also caused to disappear like that.
You're right. And none of this is explained. We don't get flashbacks. It's just immediate res. Let's go. We're off to the races straight away.
Right. And we get a little bit of explanation that the farmer had been watching something on TV. I heard you were a guest on that TV talk show they run in town. It took some doing to work up enough nerve to call you. It was about TV show about UFOs, and he found this flying saucer on his property, so he called Cap. Not sure how he knew how to reach Cap, but I guess
he
just
called the station.
Call Avengers Mansion. I don't know.
He just called the television station. It's the local station because Cap was there. But yeah, it's kind of funny that Cap was in town to talk about aliens, given the last lines of this annual, which we'll get to. But when we have this sort of expositional bit of dialogue between 2 characters who know how they met.
Now how did we meet again 10 minutes ago?
Let's go through it while we dust off after vaporizing this alien. There's this line here from Cap, which tickled my memory, because where have I heard that kind of phrasing before? So Cap says to Hendrix, "Who would believe that a local farmer would call and ask me to inspect a UFO which had landed in his meadow?" Right? I was like, why does that sound familiar? Why does that sound familiar? And then I started thinking yes, the dulcet tones of Richard Burton from Jeff Wayne's War of the Worlds musical, and which of course wasn't out yet, but the original H.G. Wells opening line for War of the Worlds, which is slightly different to the musical. But the original line is, "No one would have believed in the last years of the 19th century that this world was being watched keenly and closely by intelligences greater than man's and yet as mortal as his own." So there's a parallel phrasing, who would believe, no one would have believed. I did, given that this whole issue is about the possibility of alien life and what that would mean to humans.
Yeah.
I find it interesting that's maybe that influence crept in.
Okay, so they're looking at the spaceship, wondering where it came from, and somehow Hendricks knows. He says, "It's come a long way, Cap, thousands of light years and then some, from a thing called a black hole star. What troubles me is I don't know what a black hole star is." But Cap does. "Our astronomers believe that it's a dead sun which has collapsed into a small dark mass, which negates any sort of light. Say, if you don't know what a black hole is, how can you tell where the ship came from? The pilot told me he's staying at my farmhouse." Oh.
You didn't mention that before. Well, I'm really glad we're having this expositional dialogue, because otherwise I would not have found out that you actually have an alien in your house.
So then we switch to a ship that's in fixed orbit around Earth, and the crew of this ship are trying to catch someone they call the captive.
Again, just a quick note as well. We're told it's in a fixed orbit, and keeps an inexplicable vigil, is the phrasing. And again, like that, I'm reminded of Wells. I'm reminded of being watched keenly and closely by intelligences greater than man's. So there's some rhyming here with H.G. Wells, maybe with the Orson Welles broadcast as well, because that was an American. They changed the location to America, and they had the idea of, oh my God, it's happening right now. And so, Kirby would have been exposed to that. So, yeah, just I think it's interesting.
So the California Raisins, who are called stalkers, were sent by these people in the ship, and they can't believe how people on Earth could have taken all three of them out, and yet we cannot lay our hands upon him, the captive. So they're kind of frustrated, and now the next step is to send down a Combatron.
Yes. And we catch a glimpse of the pilot of this ship is clearly an android, and the more we learn about these aliens, the significance of that's going to become clear. But yes, that they're not sending soldiers down; they're sending these bred for purpose creatures, and now they're sending this Combatron. So again, it's sort of
sending machines.
Yes,
and we'll find out later why.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, not living guys. So they send. The ship that it goes down in looks like an ice pick, with the pointer going down, pointer first, down into
look out, Trotsky.
Earth. So then back at Jim's farmhouse, Cap and Jim go in, and like as we mentioned, we see the alien there who's wearing some kind of hood and this bulky uniform. That reminds me of something.
Yes.
I don't know, like some story that involved dealing with nuclear things, or I don't know. Does it look like what you were thinking of?
No. So we're going to get more of that detail in a bit. This is more like a containment suit at first. So similar to what the scientists wear in E.T., the sort of bulky, oversized. No, when we actually get to see the captive's face, that's when it starts looking more like Bava.
Okay.
And Planet of the Vampires, yeah.
All right. And So they're trying to get this alien to trust them. Cap says he wears a mask, but it's not for evil reasons. He's a symbol of justice. And the captive says, justice. The word has no meaning for one such as the captive. But Cap wants to see what he looks like. Jim says, don't be afraid. He has no intention of harming you. So Cap pulls off the hood, and first we just see him from the back. It takes another panel before we see the captive's face, but it looks like a normal human face. He's wearing this helmet.
Yes.
Which makes him look a little bit like Machine Man or somebody in the Inhumans,
Metron.
I think.
Metron. He looks like Metron. Looks like Black Bolt.
Yeah.
The styling of his eyebrows is familiar to X-Men fans because he looks a bit like the Shi'ar. Like they have that sort of Avon-like styling to their eyebrows. So yes, he's sort of a classic Kirby type.
And it turns out that he was being held captive in this black hole, and somehow he managed to escape after 1 million years trapped in there.
Which that is this very funny little exchange afterwards, because Cap says, "Did he say it took him 1 million years to?" And like Andrew said, "Don't know. He looks younger than that to me." Oh, very funny.
But he's sure that the Galactic Empire is coming to get him again. And so Cap's read on the situation is that they have to protect the captive from the Empire. Those guys must be in the wrong after this guy. And they hear a sound from outside, whump, and the captive says, don't rush out there. If the stalkers have failed, they'll have sent down a combatron. It's a deadly species. Of course, they go outside anyway, and they see the ice pick embedded in the ground, and the occupant has left. It's just standing there with the door open, empty. But then, as they're looking at the ice pick, the combatron comes up behind them. And so in the movie this would be a jump scare. It's a little hard to do jump scares in comics, but
I like the sound effect. I like Zatom. That's a new one on me.
Yeah, it's the sound of the combatron shooting from its arm gun into the ground, apparently, and just throwing rocks and trees and stuff all over. And Cap and Jim end up buried in debris, but Cap is able to get up and fight back. But Jim says, you can't beat him with fists, Cap. We've got to reach the weapons in that spaceship. He says, go to it then, Jim. I'm just too mad to break this off. I've got to finish the job. So Cap is stubborn.
He calls him a space traveling ape as well, because he's got a sort of ape-like appearance. When I heard Combatron, I was expecting another robot. We'll see some of that later. But so he's a sort of created creature. He's got aspects of animal-like physiology, but I think he's a cyborg, maybe. But there is a blink and you'll miss it character in one of the recent Star Wars movies, Rise of Skywalker. And there's this bit where the villain's getting his mask restored, and we see this, what can only be described as a ape welder. So an ape with welding goggles over his face, fixing the mask. Right. He looks a lot like this guy. A lot of nerds online are going, I don't know, we know nothing about this creature, but I want to know more about this ape welder. Who was that?
So now there are heat rays coming down from space, shooting at them, and one hits the Combatron and causes it to explode. which I guess wasn't the intention of the ray. It was supposed to be hitting, well, they're really after, of course, the captive. It's such a weird thing to call someone who's not captive. But I was just thinking, well, what we said about Kirby and character names. It's just...
He's not good at them.
Yeah. And the ice pick also burns up in a flood of Kirby dots, destroying the evidence. And the guys in the spaceship are all upset. These Earthmen are insufferable. They protect the captive as if he were one of their own. One salvo from our ionic cannon could get them both, sire. No, that would betray our presence to the rest of the planet. We are not here to risk a war with Earth.
Risk a war? What risk? It's like you risking a war when you step on an anthill. I mean, that could go badly for you. But again, we have, similar to the Night Flyer issue, we have a moment where characters say, I could clearly end this right now if I just do this thing. And then the story sort of conspires for them not to do that for reasons.
Yes.
We like saying, oh no, we can't use this cannon. You just were shooting from orbit a farm with your other cannon.
Yeah, they were already shooting, and then, no, we can't use it anymore, because then the rest of the planet would figure out we're here. Well, what difference is it going to make if you use it some more?
And you just dropped like 4 separate killer species on this farm. You're not being subtle. This is a delicate operation.
So, but now we get a little bit more insight when the leader says, very well, but understand this force must employ a species of inorganic origin. We must not tempt the captive with living creatures born of natural means. I am well aware of the captive's history. The cursed Crichton will not get the chance to fatten himself on any of us. Ooh, fatten himself?
Yeah. But again, if that's the case, then it is really important that they do scorch Earth, this whole planet. Because it's a smorgasbord for this creature, as we will learn.
Right. So now they're calling the Magnoids. The ship has a full contingent of Magnoids. Those galactic scourges are no more than animated mineral. They'll do the job. So meanwhile, Jim is trying to call for help, but the phone is being blocked apparently by the spaceship guys. So, yeah, the warship is jamming the line, he says. I'm not sure what the police would be able to do about this situation anyway. I mean, do you think the Avengers would be somebody you would call in this situation? But you've already got Cap there. So, and the captive is just kind of depressed or self-pitying, or you're dreaming. The enemy will never allow me to leave this place. They'll never allow me to lose myself on this teeming world. They have me cornered here. They'll keep me here until...
The choice of words there, teeming world. The red flags are being waved at Cap.
Yes.
And he's sort of slowly starting to ask maybe the relevant question, where he's like, now he's saying, hey, why are they after you anyway?
Yeah, why do they want to apprehend you? He's just starting to think, odd, very odd. Tell me, why is this galactic outfit on your tail? Why would 1,000 warships be dispatched to comb that vast sea of space seeking your whereabouts? But Jim says, now's not the time. We got to get out of here. So they run out to the car, but before they get in the car, it's blasted to bits. So that's not an option. And then they see there's another UFO coming, and captive says it's sitting, or no, who says that? Jim says it's sitting down in the meadow too. The enemy must sure like that spot. Cap says they don't want to expand their area of operation. Captive says this is no time to be clinical. How can we defend ourselves? So Cap sends the two of them to go to the spaceship check every weapon for action. I'll join you two as soon as I've scouted the size of the opposition. So they go back to the spaceship, and we follow them. And Jim says, with Captain America on our side, there's no reason to throw in the towel. Captain says, that cursed warship assails us with inorganic warriors. I need living fodder. What's all this talk about living fodder? These weapons will do just fine. Quick, round up all your weapons. Jim has no idea. Ignoramus, I am the mightiest weapon aboard this ship. Hey, this is no time to get edgy. We've got a fight on our hands. We've got to pull together, mister. I can be strong, I tell you, a force to be feared by all. I was a captive because I was feared. This warship above our heads would turn tail and run if I attained my full strength. You can help me, Hendrix. You are alive and vital, a living dynamo of energy. Give me that energy and I can put this pack of wolves to flight. Sure, don't get upset, little feller. I'll show you how to get energy if you show me how to work this fool cannon. And so now we go outside, and the galactic assault vehicle has landed. Cap is watching from above, and Cap is surprised just how many of them there are searching for this one guy. And of course, they're all robots. And one of them sees him and starts shooting at him. And so then there's some fighting. And of course, Cap is throwing them all over the place. So, a battle for several pages here. Like I said, it's just action, this story. Then he runs for the spaceship to get to safety. But when he gets there, he finds Jim is not there. And the captive is saying that he's stronger now. And the captive says, you'll find Hendrix below in the ship's hold. And Cap's calling out to him, and captive says, he may not be able to hear you. I suggest that you find him. And of course, when Cap finds him, he's a dried out husk of a body. He's been all his energy absorbed.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is the reveal. See, poor Jim, he fell for the old classic vampire trick, which is they always ask for permission first. Vampires, great believers in consent. So, never invite them into your home. That's the classic one. Like, once you invite them in, they're in now. You can't get rid of them. But this guy, he was like, I really need your energy. And Jim's like, yeah, okay, sure, I'll give you my energy. He's like, well, he slipped up there.
Jim didn't quite have enough information there. But it's too late now. And now Cap realizes what's going on. Now, the word vampire is never used here. He calls him a parasite, a virus from space, but does not refer to him as any kind of vampire.
Which is, again, interesting because, I brought up in the Mario Bava film, Planet of the Vampires, which isn't a vampire film.
Okay.
Again, it's interesting. It's it sort of is credited with sort of codifying space vampires. Colin Wilson's book, which was made into Life Force, things like that. But they are parasites. Again, they are basically, and they create like zombie-like people. Like their victims are turned into zombies. So it's not quite a vampire story, but it's vampiric in its parasitism, which is, if you go back to the Bram Stoker Dracula, there is also a lot of discussion of Dracula being a parasite. That he's like feasting on the healthy blood of good, pure England. This idea of, and then we stray into the idea of xenophobia, which tends to get connected with vampirism a lot. It's usually about a people. It's usually about people. Immigrants is a very sort of hated group in vampire lore. There's this idea of the other, the people from another place, which is very interesting in this comic because that's ultimately what this turns into. It turns into a discussion with Cap about hey, don't be so quick to welcome aliens into America, because actually, if we had a one-to-one fight with aliens, we would be completely outmatched and we'd be wiped out. So there is that sort of blurring of the line between the vampire metaphor and then the idea of aliens as both people from somewhere else and actual extraterrestrials, which is it's for it's a. I really, spoilers for the discussion at the end. I really loved this. Like, I really enjoyed this because it's exactly my jam. Like, this is all the stuff I'm really into. But I find it funny that Kirby is sort of blending all these things in a way which I'm not sure anyone else really was. Not in the same sort of mixture of gothic and science fiction. But again, this is the man who gave us Count Dragoran of Transylvania from Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, issue 142, where we had a literal vampire planet with horns. I will never get over it. That was amazing.
Right. And so there's a lot of posturing and yelling at each other, and then there's a fight, of course.
Well, yeah, I mean, the captive sort of transforms into his vampiric persona, his vampiric appearance, and it's almost like a video game boss when when you now it's time for the final fight, they suddenly become 10 times bigger, and then their face expands, the jaw unclenches, and oh no, it's a monster,
sharp teeth, and
yes,
yeah, and we've got that one huge page that it's just the vampire's face and his big toothy mouth and his eyes turned towards us, and kind of through his mouth we can see Cap lying on the floor. Yeah, it's really memorable panel,
which the cover sort of echoes a bit, because we saw the transformed captive in silhouette on the cover. And it was this sort of action of his jaws being wide open, but this idea of a devouring vampiric mouth. It's an incredible page. Like, what an amazing image.
So Cap seems to be giving in, and the captive is ready to soak up his energy, but then Cap puts up his shield and pushes against him, and I'll decide how I want to die. He's feeling like he's running out of energy, though, because he's thinking it's useless. I can't keep this up much longer, but I'll battle him till the end. But then the Magnoids from outside break into the ship and start shooting at the captive. And with Cap's help, they manage to capture him. He throws his shield and knocks the captive for enough of a loop that the robots can grab him. And Cap is momentarily knocked out. When he wakes up, he sees they're kind of strapping him into this cocoon kind of thing and taking him back to the ship, while he curses them out. Swine, pigs of the galaxies, you'll pay for this. Blah, blah, blah.
Yes. Oh, he's raging at them is great. It's like he goes full villain.
Yes.
He's like monologuing.
Right. There isn't a foul trap in all of space that can hold the captive. Ha 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 ha. I'll be back, I tell you. I'll seek you out and empty your worlds of life. Ha 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 ha.
I love him.
So they use the light-year sling to throw him at the star Epsilon 4, and Cap sees the lines in the sky of the ship leaving, and is thinking to himself, it's hard to believe the captive is gone. For one terrifying moment, this world was in mortal danger from an enemy too ghastly to think about. I'm counting on his jailers to make certain that the captive is never seen again. And he sees Jim where he's left him lying on the ground, checks on the Metroids, but they're all leaving too. Their ship is taking off.
I love the appearance of Cap in these pages. Like he's so traumatized. He's fully wall-eyed. Like he's got 1,000-year star. Sorry, 1,000-year stare. Yard stare. Oh my goodness. Cut all of that.
1,000 light year stare.
Yes, there we go.
A man can't help but wonder about the infinite. For every terror, those billions of stars must hide a miracle of life, perhaps a living thing of inspiring dimensions, a friend to all it touches. We've seen so much these past few years, and yet hardly anything at all. And then we see that the captive is arriving at Epsilon 4, and they've thrown him into the star as it goes nova. Skablam. So, seemingly dead, but not the last time he ever appeared in a Marvel comic.
Oh no.
So, I don't know like all of his appearances, but at some point they named the captive Threcker.
Okay.
And his last appearance was during the Blood Hunt event last year.
No.
Yes.
The bloody thing that I use as the example of incomprehensible present-day Marvel storytelling.
He appeared in an issue of Venom that tied in with Blood Hunt.
Okay, I might need to read that. Because I think Al Ewing was writing it at the time.
Exactly, yes.
Oh, I might have
issue
to read this.
34.
Okay.
Written by Al Ewing, penciled and inked by Juan Ferreira. Also colored by him.
Okay. Do you know what? That's crazy. Al Ewing is usually good at the canon welding. He's usually good at bringing old ideas and bringing to the present day and doing something interesting with them. Immortal Hulk was just full of that stuff. And his Immortal Thor book is also really, really good. But yeah, I need to read that now, because what would Al Ewing do with a space vampire? But particularly, like, he ties it into Blood Hunt, which is all about these super vampires creating an occlusion over Earth so they can just have all the vampires run amok and just kill everybody, and then the heroes have to try and bring the sun back. And I mean, I read that whole thing after complaining about it on this podcast. And it just slipped right through my brain. Like, it just... Even me trying to give you the plot summary there, that was a mild struggle for me. Wait, what happened?
Yeah, I mean, I read a few tie-in issues just like the books I normally read, but I never cared about vampires, so I didn't really want to read the main book.
Whereas me? I love them. Love them to bits. Crazy about vampires. But wasn't interesting at all. But this, very interesting.
So then we jump to Cap talking with a top-level security committee. One guy in military uniform and two guys in suits. Although the guys in suits have very broad shoulders.
They're huge.
They could be also superheroes, perhaps. And so Cap's been telling them what happened, and they're like, well, there's no evidence, and we don't believe it. So, but you have credibility, so we gave you some time, but that's it. Case closed.
It's very interesting. I mean, like, that is nonsensical to say there's no evidence, because we had... What did we have? Well, we had a melted spaceship. We had a desiccated body, right? How did that happen? Give me a scientific explanation for it. We had the char marks from the laser burns all around the area because they kept shooting stuff. You know, so it's a cover up. I mean, explicitly, what we're being shown here is a cover up. But what's interesting is they do leave Cap with a feeling of doubt Which is funny because he gave that monologue in the previous page where he talked about having just encountered this monstrous creature. He gave this little monologue about, but out there could be some beautiful alien who would be almost like a god to us, like maybe a friend, somebody who could help us out there in space. We haven't met them yet. So he was still clinging to this sort of hopefulness, whereas the government guys are basically saying, no, don't talk about it. Everyone will panic. It's a bad thing to talk about.
Right, yeah. We downplay UFOs because we have to, Cap, to preserve mankind's collective sanity. But who knows, maybe someday we'll be able to meet these aliens on their level. Someday, but not today. Cap says, let's hope so, General, because we're not alone. In the teeming firmament, look to the stars, Earth, look to the stars. The end.
Which is a beautiful sentiment, and it does feel like the ending of a Amazing Stories tale from before Marvel. You know, it feels like that kind of some two-fisted hero punches out aliens, they leave, and then the military basically explain to him, well, we're not going to let you talk about this because it would cause a panic. This is Marvel Earth, where Galactus rocked up to New York.
Right, and they mentioned Galactus and the Watcher, but yeah, what does the average man know or care of Galactus or the Watcher or any of the myriad nightmares we've discovered these past few years?
They're not secret. They've been seen. Silver Surfers flying around all the time.
Yeah.
The Fantastic Four came back from their space mission with powers. Like, there is a known quality within the Marvel universe of, yeah, aliens are out there and they're much more sophisticated than we are, and some freaks we call superheroes are maybe our last line of defense against them.
Yeah, I think over time, the thinking about what average people in the Marvel Universe know about heroes has changed, because it used to be like the non-superhero people were like just like us and didn't believe that things like these could be real. And by now, I think the Marvel Earth population probably knows all that kind of stuff. They're just completely used to it.
And they have to be traumatized. Like,
Yeah.
they have to be. Vampires took over the planet the other week. Like, that's terrifying.
Yeah, it's hard to cover up.
So I don't understand. Like, I always want there to be a story about an ordinary person who's just absolutely traumatized by how nightmarish living in Marvel Earth is, or DC Earth, or any of the comic book universes. It's just an awful, awful place to be.
Yeah, of course, a long time ago there was Marvels,
yes,
which touched on that, and you know, the superhero stuff was kind of in the background of that normal guy's life.
Yeah, and I didn't really like that because, again, it didn't go far enough. It it still had a degree of separation that clearly doesn't exist.
Yeah, somehow the Earth could be almost taken over by aliens, and most people wouldn't know it.
Yes, Kumar. When Kumar's on, when we talk about Man of Steel, Kumar always likes to compare it to Alan Moore's Miracle Man. Like, there's your one per episode, where, you know, where London gets trashed, right? I happened to read a random Captain America issue after reading this. I read one where he has a fight with Captain Britain, but is it really Captain Britain? Which, you know, it's an issue. It's one of the Grunwald era Captain America comics, and in that issue, London gets destroyed. Like, the Tower of London gets, the House of Parliament gets blown up. All this incredible scale of destruction in this battle between Captain America and this magically empowered costumed hero. And I read that issue and I was like, that's just another day. Like, that, like in Miracle Man, it's explicitly like, this is a terrifying thing that happened and it changes society because, you know, superhero battles at this scale actually huge loss of life, and it changes history. Whereas in this Captain America issue, yeah, that happened yesterday, and you know, everything's back to normal now, and there's Big
Nobody
Ben.
will
and,
ever know.
No, it's fine. Everything's fine. Don't worry about it. And that's what I'm frustrated by, because I kind of want. Do you need to tell that story of? Okay, so did the economy of London collapse after that issue of Captain America? It must have.
Okay, so yeah, in the next, I'm not sure when, next few couple months, we'll get to that 1977 annual. And then after that, it'll be on to Black Panther.
Amazing. Tim, thank you so much for this. This was a great read. I really enjoyed it. Amazing high concept Kirby stuff. Camp is anything, but still really fun.
The volume we're reading is Captain America and the Falcon, The Swine, published by Marvel. Follow us on Blue Sky at Decon Comics. On Facebook, we have both a page and a group. Those are linked from deconstructingcomics.com, as is our YouTube channel, where our episodes are posted every week as videos of a single image. You can comment on our episodes on YouTube or on our site, or drop us a line at mail@deconstructingcomics.com, or talk to us. Click the Leave a Voicemail link on the left sidebar of our site. Are you making a comic? Send it to us and we'll do a Critiquing Comics episode about it. Our theme is by J.B. Anderton. The music backing the promotion of our Patreon is Change by Jazar. I don't like to tease episodes that haven't been recorded yet, but the next 2 weeks I'm going to go out on a limb and do so. The plan for next week is an interview with cartoonist Jim Keefe, who wrote and drew the Flash Gordon comic strip from 1996 to 2003, and is currently the artist on the comic strip Sally Forth. He's also done lettering and art retouching on English editions of some manga titles, including Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist and one that we've talked about before, Cross Game. So be here for that next week. Till then, this is Tim, and thanks for listening to Deconstructing Comics.